Where are you going? Where are you going? Will you take me with you? For my hand is cold and needs warmth. Where are you going? I was in the presence of God. In the summer of 2003, I played a disciple in a production of Godspell. And for 2 hours each night, for 2 months, I was in the presence of God. Godspell imagines what might happen if Jesus came today and gathered a band of followers. Playing a member of this group night after night through rehearsals and performances, I got deep into character, and I was surrounded by a love and a joy and a security of knowing that God was in that space with me. And that stage was transformed into a holy place. Getting into character and being that character allowed me to experience the presence of God in a way I could not allow myself to do alone. To let go and simply be in the presence of God, and to be joyful in that presence. That experience utterly transformed me. There's a moment towards the end of the show where my character feels abandoned by God. She holds out her cold hand. "Where are you going?" she asks. "Take me with you." She seeks God and needs God's presence to warm her. And while I reveled in, as well as envied, her ability to solidly feel that presence of God, it was this part of her story that I identified with the most. Like my character in Godspell, Jacob also merits the presence of God, and I'm jealous of him too. He gets what so many of us have spent our whole lives reaching for, a tangible moment where God nitzav alav, God is by his side, where he reaches out his cold hand despite every fear he may have that no one will be there to grab it. And there is God to warm his hand. But even for Jacob, this does not come easily. At the beginning of Vayetze, our parsha this week, Jacob is at his lowest. Everything he's gotten by deceit. He's won his own birthright by conniving it from his hungry brother. He steals his father's blessing through an elaborate ruse. He has fled his home and fled the wrath of his brother Esau. He is far from the home he loves, haunted, hunted, and utterly alone. If God is with him, surely he does not know it. Exhausted and dejected, he lays his head on a stone. Amazingly, Jacob falls asleep with that stone as his pillow and dreams of a stairway set on the ground leading upwards towards the heavens, with the angels of God going up and then down on it. Adonai was standing by his side and reminds him that he is, despite it all, blessed. V'nivrechu v'cha kol mishpachot ha'adama uvzarecha v'hinei anochi imach u'shmarticha b'chol asher telech. Of all the families of the earth, all of the families of the earth will be blessed by you and by your descendants. Remember, I am with you. I will protect you wherever you go. Jacob is surprised. He had gone to sleep feeling anything but blessed. Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, v'anochi lo yadati. Wow, he exclaims. Adonai, God is present in this place. And I did not know that. He's moved. Rashi comments that if Jacob had known that God was there, he wouldn't have fallen asleep in such a holy place. Yet it's the very fact that Jacob allows himself to let go and to be unguarded in that sleep, that allows him to see what his despair had hidden. Through that liberating slumber, Jacob becomes open to perceiving the angels that were by his side all along, who then in turn open him to the possibility of blessing. Without that sleep, he would not have known that God was there. The angels went up the ladder of Jacob's dream and then back down again, for they had been with him by his side all along. But their presence was not unique to that place. It was in that place that Jacob realized that they were there. The realization that God is there with him transforms the rock where he laid his head into an altar, a place of service to God, a place where God simply is. Jacob then pledges himself to serve God and become that blessing that God has told him he can be. If God will remain with me, says Jacob, protect me on this journey, give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, and return me safely home, if God will be my God, then this stone shall be a dwelling place for God. The traditional commentators are troubled by this vow due to its seeming display of Jacob's lack of faith in God. What do you mean if God does all these things, you'll serve God, they say? God just told you that God's going to be with you. Yet Jacob's vow is not an expression of doubt in God. It's really an expression of Jacob's doubt in himself. Ramban explains that Jacob doubted not God, but his own ability to withstand temptation. Am I really worthy of such a blessing as this? If I am, then anyone, even one as low as this stone, can be blessed. Jacob's vow is thus not a conditional acceptance of God as his God, but rather his commitment to recognize his own worthiness of blessing. If God will be with me, then even this rock can become a holy place. V'haya Adonai li lelohim. Jacob declares that God will be my God, and Sifrei Devarim explains that this means that God will join God's name to me, and from me only good things will come. Once Jacob awakens to the reality of his own worthiness of God's presence, he's able to continue his journey to Haran, the journey that will lead him to his beloved Rachel, and to the beginnings of his family that will secure the blessings that God has promised him. Of course, Jacob doesn't know all this yet. All he knows is that God is with him. This knowledge alone is enough to get him to pick himself up, dust himself off, and start all over again. Vayisa Yaakov raglav. Jacob lifted up his feet. According to Midrash Haggadah, while a person's feet usually lift him along, Jacob lifted up his feet because God's words imparted a lightness to his steps. V'hinei anochi imach. The journey became easier because God said, I am with you. This knowledge causes Jacob to pick up his feet. He doesn't just start up again. He doesn't just walk on. He dances. He skips. He's buoyant. He is confident of his own self-worth. He commits himself to a life of blessing, and from this